What's going on, folks? In this one, I wanted to come face to face and talk about a topic that comes up quite often, which is the online coaching game saturated? Okay, I want to give you my opinion on this. I want to tell you a little bit of a story about how I developed my perspective on saturation in the markets generally. And then we can talk about how that applies to the coaching industry. And I think coming out the other side of that, if you're a coach who's doing 5 to 10K a month and you're looking, maybe you've been doing that for a while and you've hit some roadblocks, or you're doing 15, 20 and you're looking at, am I going to be able to get this up over, say, 50? Am I going to be able to push up towards 100,000 a month? Am I going to be able to hit that, $1 million a year run rate and really break through? Or am I too late? Right? Is the market just too saturated? I think you're going to have a very clear perspective on that coming out the other side of this video. Okay. If you want to know more about what we do, head over to the main video on my channel. Breaks down how I help my clients with their coaching businesses, and in particular, how we help them get clients without sales calls. So that video will give you a lot of helpful information around that topic if it is of interest to you. Okay. So with that all said, let's get this out of the way and dive right in. So market saturation is a really, really interesting thing. People use it as a bit of an excuse sometimes. I think it gets thrown around without people really going, okay, well, what are we talking about when we talk about market saturation? And to give you my perspective on it, I want to tell you about a little story. So I hosted my first live event in 2019. I was on the Gold Coast here, and I had a bunch of clients who were more local. And then I also had a guy come out who was actually the dude that I bought like one of my first courses off in 2017, which was all about SEO and affiliate marketing. And that was where I really got my start in the game. And it was great because he was in Australia at the time, and I got him to speak to the group, and he spoke about this topic of saturation. And I'd never considered it in the way that he presented it. And so that's really driven my perspective of it. And I'm very thankful that I heard him explain it this way, because it's really allowed me to achieve a lot of the stuff that I have so far online. And that main video breaks down more context around what I've been able to do if you're newer to the channel. So go check that out. Okay. And so what he explained, he put up this slide with these different sized circles, and we go left to right. And on the left-hand side, you had a really, really big circle. And then you had, I think there was like 3 or 4, and they got progressively smaller and smaller and smaller, all until down there was just like this little dot on the far right-hand side. Okay. And what each of these circles represented were a group of people in a certain market. But then as they got smaller, it was diluted by certain factors that really dictated if people could be considered your quote unquote competition, which is really what drives the question of is a market saturated or not. Okay. And I may not nail this specifically, but we'll be there or thereabouts. Okay. And so if you think about, you've got a really, really big pool of people, you've got a big circle, and this is all the people who want to be an online coach, right? If we're talking about specifically applying it to the coaching situation, you've got all the people who are online coaches or want to be online coaches. And if we talk about that as like the big market, that's our very first circle. And then we go, okay, so am I really competing against all of those people? And the answer is very obviously no. Okay. And so the first thing that we can dilute it by is, well, who would be in my niche, right? And we can start at a high level, and we can go one of the big 3, be it health, wealth, relationships. Okay, so all of a sudden we then trim down, if you assume the market sizes are somewhat equal, you trim down, 66, 67%. Okay, so we're down to a smaller circle already, right? Now let's take that one step further. If you actually know how to brand and position yourself and develop messaging correctly, like I help my clients with, now all of a sudden you're in a much smaller sub-market and even more narrow than a sub-market, but we'll keep it simple for now, within that bigger market. So the circle instantly gets very, very small, and we're only 2 layers in. And so let's say you're serving this sub-market within one of those larger markets. All right, we're down a lot of people from that first circle already, and we've only come in 2 layers. All right, so let's think about this further. Am I really competing with all of the same people who are in the same sub-market as me? All right, as in they help people with kind of the same-ish thing. The answer is obviously no. Okay, and another point of dilution could be, well, they use a similar-ish mechanism. Like how they help their clients is similar. The methodology that they apply. Right. So now we, which you obviously believe to be the way to achieve certain result in that sub-market. So now we eliminate a whole bunch of other people who very obviously are not your competitors, and we're left with an even smaller circle. All right. And we could keep going down that train of thought, but let's just leave it there for now. We've narrowed in the niche. We've gone into a sub-market within that niche. And now we're just talking about the people who apply the same or believe in the same methodology that you do to get a certain result in that sub-market. Now we look more at the individuals that are kind of around us and we go, okay, so am I competing with these people? And on a surface, it may appear yes. But here's where I really want to challenge you, and here's where I think this perspective is really, really powerful, is of all of those people who are in the same sub-market, same mechanism, how many of them are like truly, and I don't necessarily love this phrase because it's a bit overused, how many of them are truly all in on their coaching business? All right. This industry has a tendency, because it's got a pretty low barrier to entry, to attract people who go, yep, there's some money there, I'm going to give it a go. All right. And so assuming I'm talking to the people who want to, really have a big run at this and build a, multi-6, 7, multi-7 figure business over the coming months and years, how many of those people do you think are truly all in and are fully committed in every single way to do everything that is required in order to hit those levels of success? Okay. Now, I don't have some magic percentages for you, but I think you can imagine how much further we've reduced that competition. Okay. And this is just around mindset and attitude and intention and commitment. So if you think about back where we started, we've still got further to go, but think about back where we started. We had this big pool of people, everyone who's coaching wants to be a coach. Then we go to our market, then we go to a sub-market. Then within that sub-market, we've got the people who have the same kind of mechanism or approach to us. Then we start diluting based on, well, who's genuinely serious and like fully committed and in this for the long term, because they're the people that always win. How much smaller now do you think that circle is versus that first circle where people are going, oh, it's saturated, right? Or should I even bother? Is it saturated? They're asking that type of question, okay? Now we can go one layer deeper in again and we go, right, so they might be fully committed. They're all in. They say that they're all in, and let's believe these people for now. But how many of them are actually good at what they do? How many of them have actually done the stuff that they're coaching on? How many of them have achieved high level things in the field that they're involved in and in the field that they want to coach in? And how many of them are so good at deploying the mechanism or the model that they help their clients with that they consistently get their clients results? So obviously I'm speaking to the people here who are really good at what they do and get their clients results. How much of your competition do you think you've now eliminated? Right? How many people do you think are left in your market, in that sub-market, who have the same mechanism of you, who have the mentality that they're all in? How many of them are actually really good at what they do? We're getting really narrow. And this is why we work left to right. We get smaller and smaller. Right? We can keep doing this exercise, but I just want to add one more layer in there for you, which is of all of those people in your market, in your sub-market with the same mechanism as you, who say that they're all in, and let's believe them. There's a lot fewer people who are actually all in than say they're all in. Big difference between what people do and what people say. And then there's the ones who are actually really good at their trade and helping people and their area of expertise. Let's take that one layer further. The percentage of people who are actually really good at marketing and selling what they do. And now we are down to such a small number of people that if anyone tells you that it's saturated, it's bullshit. If you break down the market, you enter a genuine sub-market, you have a real mechanism that helps people, you're mentally, physically, emotionally all into making this business work and scaling it up. You're really good at what you do. You've got a proven track record of helping people. You help your clients consistently, and you invest in learning how to market, how to package up your knowledge, how to sell, how to build an overall ecosystem that actually acquires clients for you, and how to do all that properly, consistently, correctly. Now you are in such a small market, and with a bit of personal branding magic layered in over the top, where you really build in who you are as a person, you're pretty close to a market of one at that point, in my experience. So for anyone who's out there who's been doing 5, 10, 15, 20 grand a month, and you're looking at, this 50K plus a month type target goal, 80,000, 100,000, $1 million, multi-seven figure, all those big numbers that people throw around, you're going, is it too saturated? Is it possible? Assuming you tick those boxes, assuming you can keep yourself in the game down all those layers, you're going to be fine. But it requires you to be really clear about who you want to help. It requires you to have a genuine way of helping people. It requires you to be fully all in on actually growing and scaling this business. And you need to be prepared to invest in learning a very particular skill set beyond your area of expertise in how to market and sell and package what it is that you do. And if you do that and you deliver it through a personal brand, you'll be so close to a market of one that it's not even funny. And I'm very confident that you can crush it. Okay, so that's my take on saturation, and a big props to Greg, who flew out and spoke to our people way back when. But that provided such a foundation for me to just go, because for me, I've been clear about who I want to help through the different phases of my journey. I know I can help them. I get them great results. I'm mentally all in. When I go into something, I'm not half-assing it. Like when I'm in, I'm in. I'm in it for the long term. This is what I do day in and day out. This is how I help people. I've been doing it for years, and I've invested hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in learning the skills to market, sell, and package what it is that I know. And that's been so key in the millions of dollars in sales. If we can help you out at all in that journey, get in touch with us. But just let that perspective sit with you. Really embody that, go through those layers again and make sure that you tick all of them off. And if you do, saturation won't be a problem for you. You're going to crush it. You'll be able to scale your business. You'll be able to make a ton of money, help a ton of people, and have a hell of a lot of fun in the process. Go check out that main video on my channel when you get a moment. Appreciate you hanging out with me in this one, and I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.